Alright, how you doing out there today? This is Mr. Muscarella and Eric coming at you, and in this video we're going to take a look at imaginary solutions for the discriminant. Now you have to remember the discriminant tells you the number and type of solutions to a quadratic equation. And when you find the value of b squared minus 4ac, because that is the discriminant, you're going to look at that number that you get, and if that number is negative, you're going to have two imaginary solutions. If it's equal to 0, you'll have one real solution, and if b squared minus 4ac is positive or greater than 0, you will have two real solutions. So let's take a look at this example here. Now, the first thing that you want to do, negative 5x squared minus 7x equals 10, is you've got to make sure that we get our equation in standard form. This is a very common error right here that people will make, is that they will start to work with the discriminant, and you don't want to do that until you get the equation in standard form. So we've got to move that 10 over to the other side. When we do that, so we're going to move the 10 to the other side, so that means we would subtract 10, and so I would have negative 5x squared, and then I would have minus 7x, and then a minus 10. And then don't forget this piece, make sure you keep your equals 0. So what you want to do is list your values for a, b, and c. So a is going to be the coordinate in front of the, or the constant in front of the x squared, that coefficient. So a is negative 5, and your b value is negative 7. Your c value is negative 10. So once you identify those three letters, A, B, and C, after you've put your equation in standard form, then you're just going to plug it into the formula b squared minus 4ac. So b squared minus 4 and then ac. So when you substitute b in, b is negative 7. Now be careful here, make sure you put that in parentheses because that's being squared. And then minus 4 times the a value is negative 5, and the c value is negative 10. Okay, so those three values, negative 4, negative 5, negative 10, are going to be the 4ac piece. Now, negative 7 squared is 49, because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. Now, if I have 1, 2, 3 negatives being multiplied together, the sign of that is going to be negative. So then I just worry about the constants, the numbers. 4 times 5 is 20, times 10 is 200. So that'll give me a product of 200. All right, so 49 minus 200 is going to be a negative number, and in this case it's negative 151. Now, I'd take a look at that number, and since that number is less than 0, since that number is negative, anytime b squared minus 4ac is negative, then we have two imaginary solutions. So our discriminant is negative 151, and we have two imaginary solutions. Make sure that you write that discriminant equals negative 151 and that we have two imaginary solutions. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Now I'm going to give you one other problem like this to practice. And again, for example 2 here, you want to take a look at it. 6x squared plus 5 equals negative 9x. You've got to get that in standard form. So go ahead and hit pause, put the equation in standard form, and determine the discriminant and what type of solutions you have. Come on back when you're ready to go. So how did you do with this one? Hopefully you remember to put it into standard form. 6x squared plus 9x plus 5 equals 0. Correctly identify your values of a, b, and c to be 6, 9, and 5, and then correctly substitute into the formula b squared minus 4ac, do the arithmetic, and come up with negative 39 for the value of the discriminant. Now since negative 39 is less than 0, you have two imaginary solutions. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and by now you know how to find a discriminant that has a negative value for two imaginary solutions. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. Peace out.